What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And in today's video I'm going to be ranking every single team's wide receiver cores. So if you guys are new to the channel or this series where I rank every team's position, so I've already done quarterback and halfback. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as it does help out a lot. And yeah, let's jump right into this. So first off, we have the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals definitely have a good wide receiver core. Obviously, they have who I think is the best wide receiver in the league right now, in DeAndre Hopkins. So, you know, your wide receiver core is already going to be good with that. Even Houston's wide receiver core was good when they had DeAndre Hopkins. And then on top of that, you have a young guy in Christian Kirk, who's a decent slot receiver. And then you brought in A.J. Green, who, I mean, we'll have to see, but I think he still has something left in the tank. So yeah, I'm gonna probably just be ranking the top three wide receivers of each, or just taking into account the top three wide receivers of each team, and that's how I'm gonna do it. And yeah, so the Cardinals I think have a good wide receiver. It's definitely not godly like some of these other wide receiver cores, but it's definitely a good one. So okay, the Broncos. I'll put them in average. So they have, I think, a really underrated player in Courtland Sutton, just because, you know, he missed basically the whole season last season. 2 seasons before that, he had over 1,000 yards. They still got a young guy in Jerry Jeudy, and also another really underrated guy in Tim Patrick. Now, they don't have a superstar per se in their wide receiver core, but all three of their wide receivers I would say are good. And you know, Courtland Sutton definitely is verging on great, but I wouldn't say he's there. So just because they've got 3 good wide receivers, I'll just put them in average. Now this is just wide receiver cores, so not tight ends, and I'm gonna put Atlanta in bad. Now they do have a number 1 wide receiver in Calvin Ridley, but other than that, I mean, they have, I suppose, Russell Gage, I guess. But they don't have a third wide receiver at all. And now that probably won't matter too much for them, because they've got both Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst as their tight ends. But purely as wide receiver cores, and not, you know, counting the tight ends, yeah, this is not a really good wide receiver core, because they just have one really good wide receiver in Calvin Ridley. I mean, Russell Gage, I suppose, is a decent wide receiver, but he's nothing special. And then other than that, yeah, they don't have anyone else. So I'm going to put it in bad. Okay, the Cleveland Browns, I'm also going to put this in average, because OBJ is really overrated now. He's really overrated. When he isn't injured, he isn't really productive, and he hasn't been productive for the 2 seasons that he's been in Cleveland. So, and Baker Mayfield keeps on trying to force him the ball when he's on the field. That, you know, it's just it doesn't work. Now, Jarvis Landry, I would say, is a very good wide receiver. He's also probably underrated. And other than that, they have a few rotational guys for the third spot. But I wouldn't say that it's anywhere as good as the Cardinals. The Cardinals wide receiver core, just because you know, OBJ is really he's kind of a negative at this point, because Baker Mayfield just keeps on forcing him the ball. So yeah, I'm going to put them in average. Now the Ravens, I'm also going to put them in bad. Now they definitely did upgrade, but, you know, last year, their wide receiver core is probably in horrible. Now they did upgrade, but yeah, those upgrades really didn't go too far, I would say, because so basically they got what's his name? Yeah, they got Marquise Brown, right? But that's pretty much it. I mean, they added Sammy Watkins, but Sammy Watkins hasn't really performed well in the playoffs. So, you know, there is that. I mean, no, not in the playoffs, in the regular season. He has performed well in the playoffs, just not the regular season, which, you know, is a big part of the you know, of your wide receiver core. They have to perform in the regular season, you know. So you've got Sammy Watkins, who honestly might even be injured. You drafted Rashad Bateman, but we don't know how he's going to turn out. And, you know, he's a rookie, so you can't really expect that much from him. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So those are your 3 guys who don't have a standout guy. They're pretty much all average or even worse than average. Don't really have, like, anyone as good as the Broncos, Courtland Sutton. So, yeah, they're going to go in bad. Now, the Titans actually upgraded on their wide receiver core. And their wide receiver core is pretty good. So, they got Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. Now, that is, like... Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so you got Julio Jones, who's, I mean, I still think he's like a top 5 wide receiver maybe in the NFL. And you got A.J. Brown, who might be like a top 15, top 20 wide receiver in the NFL, but who's still really young and he's still ascending. So, yeah, I think that the Titans wide receiver core is one of the best ones in the NFL now. You know, do they have a 3rd wide receiver? I mean, kind of, you know. Not really though. So, yeah, they got Josh Reynolds, who had a decent, what's his name? Yeah, he had a decent 2020 season, but I don't think he's anything special as the 3rd wide receiver, so that's why they're only in the good and not the great or the godly tier. But yeah, they are still a very good wide receiver core and definitely deserve to be in good. Okay, horrible is going to be the Jets. One of the reasons why Zach Wilson will have some trouble in the NFL because his wide receiver core isn't too good. I mean, they got Denzel Mims, and then they drafted basically a carbon copy of Denzel Mims in like the 2nd round, which is just like, okay, sure. So you basically just like drafted to replace one of your veterans. I guess that was yeah, that happened. Now you did get Corey Davis. I mean, sure, Corey Davis he can provide something, but I'm not ready to like say that Corey Davis is on this next level after he just got like one good year where he didn't even get 1,000 yards. Oh yeah, wait, no, you got Jamison Crowder and then Denzel Mims. You drafted the rookie. Yeah, he's the rookie that you drafted. Wait, no, Elijah Moore. Oh my God, I am just yeah, Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is the rookie. Yeah, and then you got Denzel Mims, who's a second year player, and then you got Jamison Crowder, who they're trying to limit his like role or something. So yeah, I don't think this is a very well run organization, and I think that Zach Wilson will definitely have a lot of trouble in the NFL. So next is going to be the Rams. Now, I think the Rams definitely have an average. I put them at the top of average. I mean, they got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. That's like that. That's a pretty explosive duo. Now they are kind of like the same players, so there is that. But yeah, I don't know. The Rams definitely have one of the better wide receiver cores in the NFL. Now that's not to say that they have like a really good one, but they definitely have a serviceable wide receiver core that will help out what's his face, Matthew Stafford. And yeah, I'll put the Rams in good. So then the Panthers actually have a really good wide receiver core. I'll put them in between the Titans and the Cardinals. So I mean, the Panthers, man, like they got DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Like that's already really good there. Like that's just a really good top 2 duo. Now the wide receiver core did take a hit because they did lose Curtis Samuel, who was a pretty good wide receiver. But even still, like, their wide receiver core is still going to be amazing. Now it's just up to Sam Darnold with all those weapons to like do good. But yeah, like the Panthers wide receiver core definitely is one of the better ones in the NFL. Okay, now the Colts, you got T.Y. Hilton and Michael Pittman Jr. Those really aren't any weapons that you're like totally going to be afraid of. So I'm going to put them in bad, even though, you know, it isn't a bad wide receiver core like these. Are just named terribly. I think that this would be bad. This one would be average. This one would be good. This one would be great. And this one would be amazing. So, I mean, you know, I'll just change that right now. Sure, what the hell. So this one is good. This one is great. This one's average, and then this one is bad. Yeah, so I think that they definitely have a decent wide receiver core, but like T.Y. Hilton and Michael Pittman Jr., like T.Y. Hilton's aging, and Michael Pittman Jr. really is a rookie who hasn't shown much so far. So yeah, they definitely don't deserve to be ahead of some of these other teams. The Chargers, I'm also gonna put them in good. They got Keenan Allen. And Mike Williams. Now, Mike Williams has kind of been, I mean, he hasn't lived up to the expectations that you would have hoped from, like, the 13th overall pick. But Keenan Allen is definitely at least a star at wide receiver who can just carry your wide receiver core. So I'll put them in good. Now, Vikings, you got Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I mean, yeah, your wide receiver core is going to be pretty good. Yeah, I'll even put them ahead of the Browns here. That I mean, like Justin Jefferson had like the best rookie year ever of a rookie wide receiver. So yeah, you definitely deserve to be up here. The Cowboys, okay, you're going in godly. I mean, I feel like this is like no argument. You got a number 1 wide receiver in Amari Cooper. You got a number 2 wide receiver in Michael Gallup. You also have another number 2 wide receiver in C.D. Lamb, which is, you know, why they probably shouldn't have drafted C.D. Lamb in that draft. But we're here, and you just like the rich got richer, I suppose. So yeah, the Cowboys have one of the better wide receiver cores. Now you got the Bengals, who I think also have a really good wide receiver core. So they got Tyler Boyd, who's like really underrated. T. Higgins had a really good rookie debut or rookie campaign. And then you got Jamar Chase, who's like the best wide receiver from the class this year. So yeah, I think that they'll be great though. If, you know, like Jamar Chase bombs or something, then they probably won't be here. I'm just banking on Jamar Chase being amazing. And yeah, that's why I put them there. Now average, yeah, okay, I'll put the Jaguars here. So you got DJ Chark. It's pretty much your only like playmaker at the wide receiver core, and you got you got Marvin Jones, I suppose, who could be decent for you. And then I suppose you got like Laviska Shenault in like the slot. But yeah, this like they don't really have too many or any stars really on this wide receiver core. Like all of their wide receivers are pretty much average or below average. So I'll put them at the bottom of average. Godly, yeah, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they pretty much have 3 number 1 wide receivers. They got Mike Evans, who's been like, I think he's had like 1,000 yards in 7 straight seasons or something. AB, who's like, yeah, you guys remember when AB was the best wide receiver in the NFL? I do, because I'm a Steelers fan. And then you got Chris Godwin, who, I mean, 2 years ago, he had a really good wide receiver, like a good season. And last year he had a good season, but it wasn't up to standard. So I guess you could say maybe he's a number 2 wide receiver. But yeah, those are 3 really elite wide receivers, and they deserve to. Yeah, they're definitely the best wide receiver core in the NFL. Okay, so we got the Green Bay Packers. Okay, I'll put them. No, they are too good. I'll put them at the top of average. Pretty like, you know, if Aaron Rodgers is complaining so much about his wide receiver core, yeah, they're not really that good. Now you got Devonte Adams, and you got Devonte Adams. Now Devonte Adams can't admittedly carry his whole team or his whole wide receiver core, but you know, as a whole unit, they don't really have anyone other than Devonte Adams. They don't have a number 2 wide receiver. They have some number 3 wide receivers, but not really a defined number 2 wide receiver, and that's why they're going in average. And the Steelers are also going to go in average. I mean, Chase Claypool had a really good rookie campaign. You still got Juju Smith-Schuster, who like isn't as good as he was when AB was on the team, but he still had a decent year. And then you got Deontay Johnson in the slot, who, I mean, if he stops like dropping balls, he'll be good, I suppose. So yeah, I mean, they got an average. You know, they're one of those teams that don't have, you know, like a superstar or even a star at wide receiver, but they do have like some average or above average pieces. So yeah, they're going to go in average. The 49ers are also going to go in average. Put them ahead of the Ravens, I suppose. I'm actually going to put the Falcons ahead of the Ravens. I think that is fair. Actually, no. I'm gonna put them behind the Ravens. So they got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Now Brandon Ayuk just like dropped the ball in the preseason that ended up in a pick. I mean, I know the ball was high, but like you gotta catch that. Now Deebo Samuel is a pretty good wide receiver, and then you don't really have a third wide receiver. So yeah, that's why they're gonna go this low in the average. The Miami Dolphins, I'll put them in great. Now, actually, no. I'm going to put them in the top of good just because they have a lot of wide receivers, like a lot of them. So they got they brought in Will Fuller. They got Devonte Parker already there, who they gave a big contract to like 2 seasons ago, and then they drafted Jalen Waddle at number 6 overall. So I mean, they don't really have like a superstar there, but they have 3 really solid players there who are definitely above average, and that's why they're going good. Okay, the Raiders. I'm going to put them in bad. So, I mean, they got Henry Ruggs, who had a very disappointing rookie campaign. And then, yeah, they don't really have that much else. I mean, Henry Ruggs is probably the best wide receiver on their team. And that's not saying much, considering that he had a really bad rookie season. So, yeah, they're going to go in bad. Now, the football team, they just got Terry McLaurin, so that's why they're going to elevate here, because they have a defined number 1 wide receiver. But other than Terry McLaurin, they really don't have anyone else. So, yeah, they're going to go in average. The Seahawks, they got 2 really good wide receivers, and then a third wide receiver and David Moore, who's, pretty good. So I'm actually going to put them in great. Actually, I'll put them above of the Bengals. So they got DK Metcalf. Actually, yeah, you know what? Just they got DK Metcalf, man. They got DK Metcalf. They got a really, really good number 2 wide receiver in Tyler Lockett. Might even be the best number 2 wide receiver in the game. Actually, just kidding, because AB is apparently a number 2 wide receiver. Yeah, no, he's the second best. And then you got David Moore, who's a decent third option. So, yeah, they're going to go in great. Now, the Texans, I'd say, have the worst wide receiver core in the NFL. They got Brandon Cooks and then a bunch of nobodies. That's pretty much it. Just like the whole Texans organization, it's not very good. Okay, the Bears. They got Allen Robinson. I mean, a young guy, I suppose, in Darnell Mooney, but he's really not there yet. But I mean, they got Allen Robinson, so I suppose, I'll put them here above the Falcons and the football team, because I think that they actually have a better number 2 option than both of those teams. But yeah, other than that, like, it's pretty much Allen Robinson or bust. The Lions, I mean, they literally just got rid of all of their wide receivers, man. So I suppose you're going to go second to last. I mean, they let go Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. Those were your 2 best wide receivers, and you let them go. I mean, you don't got Golden Tate anymore. What the hell are you going to do? Okay. So, New York Giants. New York Giants actually have a really good wide receiver core. They got Kenny Golladay, number 2 wide receiver in Sterling Shepard, and 2 number 3 wide receivers in Darius Slayton and the rookie, Kadarius Toney. So, yeah, they have a lot of options. Also have a lot of depth of good players. So, yeah, they're going to go in great. The Saints are not too good. I mean, like, yeah, sure. I'll put them here in average. I mean, got Michael Thomas, and that's it. You just got Michael Thomas. That's literally it. So, yeah, I'll put them in, like, these teams. Actually, I'll put them ahead of the Falcons because I think Michael Thomas. Actually, no. The Falcons have a better second option. But, yeah, you basically just got Michael Thomas. It's a one-man show. So, yeah, not really that good of a wide receiver core. The Bills actually have a really good wide receiver core. They've got Stephon Diggs, and then they got Cole Beasley. So, those are 2 very good. Cole Beasley might be the best slot receiver in the NFL. And Stephon Diggs is like a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. And then you got Gabriel Davis as an upcoming player for their third option. So they have a really good wide receiver core. Okay, the Chiefs have a godly wide receiver core. I'll even put them. No, because they lost Sammy Watkins, but they still have. I think they still have Demarcus Robbins. They obviously got Tyreek Hill, and they still have McCole Hardman. So yeah. It's still a really good wide receiver core. Now the Eagles wide receiver core is not too good. They got Jalen Reagor and Devonte Smith. Okay, you know what? They actually drafted Devonte Smith, so I'm going to put them in the top of bad. But yeah, Jalen Reagor had a very disappointing rookie season, especially compared that Justin Jefferson was just took one pick later than him. So yeah, very bad in comparison to that. And then, I mean, you drafted Devonte Smith, who should be the #1 wide receiver. So you got a young wide receiver core, but it's not very good and still needs to develop. And the Patriots, yeah, their wide receiver core is also bad. They have Nelson Aguilar. They got Nelson Aguilar as their #1 wide receiver. That's all I need to say. That's all I need to say, Mr. Trump. Okay, yeah, so anyways, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you guys did, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Too easy!